Your portfolio is bleeding red. FUTU down 25% in a single day. Your hands are shaking as you stare at the numbers. This isn't just about money anymore. This is about who you thought you were as an investor. And right now, that person feels like a stranger. The notifications won't stop. Your phone buzzes with breaking news alerts, margin calls, stop-loss triggers. FUTU isn't just falling, it's collapsing. 25.46% in one session. Your carefully constructed identity as a savvy tech investor is crumbling with every refresh of your portfolio. You thought you understood risk. You thought you had discipline. You thought you were different from all those emotional traders who panic at the first sign of trouble. But here you are, finger hovering over the sell button, heart racing, palms sweating. The voices in your head are getting louder. Cut your losses. This could go to zero. What if it never recovers? What if you're wrong about everything? The rational part of your mind knows this is exactly the wrong time to make decisions, but rational thought is drowning in a sea of fear and regret. You're discovering something uncomfortable about yourself, something that challenges everything you believed about your investor identity. When the market tests you, really tests you, who are you? Are you the calm, calculated investor you pretend to be? Or are you just another emotional trader wearing a disguise? Nearly 2,000 years ago, Marcus Aurelius faced his own version of market chaos. Not stock prices, but plague, war, betrayal. The Roman Empire was crumbling around him. People were dying by the thousands. Military campaigns were failing. The treasury was empty. And through it all, he wrote these words in his private journal. When you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, the people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly. They are like this because they can't tell good from evil. But I have seen the beauty of good and the ugliness of evil, and have recognized that the wrongdoer has a nature related to my own. Marcus wasn't writing about people. He was writing about circumstances, about the market forces of life that seem to conspire against us. He understood something that modern investors have forgotten. Your identity isn't determined by what happens to you. It's determined by how you respond to what happens to you. While FUTU shareholders are questioning everything they know about for investing, Marcus would be asking a different question. Not, how much am I losing? But, who am I becoming? Because in his mind, every crisis was an opportunity to practice virtue. Every loss was a chance to strengthen character. Every moment of chaos was a test of philosophical discipline. Alex Chen is staring at his phone again. The FUTU position that was supposed to fund his daughter's college education is now worth 75 cents on the dollar. His stress ball is getting a workout. Marcus Sterling sits across from him, silver-rimmed glasses, reflecting the red numbers on the screen. His weathered hands are folded calmly in his lap. Tell me what you're thinking, Alex. I'm thinking I'm not cut out for this. Good. Good? You're finally asking the right question. Marcus pauses, lets the silence hang in the air. Most investors spend their entire careers avoiding this moment. Another pause, the moment when they discover who they really are. The Stoic investor's identity isn't built on performance. It's built on process. Marcus Aurelius understood this deeply. He didn't measure his worth as an emperor by whether Rome was winning or losing on any given day. He measured it by whether he was living according to his principles, whether he was practicing wisdom, justice, courage, and self-discipline. The same framework applies to investing. Your identity as an investor shouldn't fluctuate with your portfolio balance. It should be anchored in something deeper. Something that can't be shaken by a 25% drop in FUTU or any other position. The Stoic investor identity has three pillars. First, acceptance of what you cannot control. You cannot control FUTU's quarterly earnings. You cannot control macroeconomic conditions. You cannot control market sentiment or algorithmic trading or geopolitical events. But you can control your research process, your position sizing, your emotional responses, your decision-making framework. When you anchor your identity in what you can control, external chaos becomes irrelevant. Second, Commitment to continuous learning. Marcus Aurelius saw every setback as education, every failure as data. The Stoic investor doesn't view the FUTU drop as a personal attack or a validation of inadequacy. They view it as information. What did I miss in my analysis? How can I improve my risk management? What does this teach me about market dynamics? When your identity is built on learning rather than being right, you can't lose. Every outcome becomes valuable. Third, focus on virtue over outcomes. The Stoic investor measures success by adherence to principles, not portfolio returns. Did I do my research thoroughly? Did I manage risk appropriately? Did I make decisions based on logic rather than emotion? Did I maintain discipline during volatility? These are the metrics that matter. These are the foundations of unshakable investor identity. When FUTU drops 25%, the Stoic investor doesn't question their worth. They ask whether they followed their process. If they did, the outcome is irrelevant. If they didn't, the outcome is a gift, showing them exactly where to improve. Marcus Sterling leans back in his chair. The red numbers on the screen haven't changed, but something in the room has shifted. Alex has stopped fidgeting with his stress ball. So what do I do about FUTU? You've already done it. What do you mean? You've discovered who you are when things go wrong. That's worth more than any single investment. Marcus pauses, choosing his words carefully. The market will recover or it won't. FUTU will bounce back or it won't. But you now know something about yourself that you didn't know this morning. You know what happens to your decision-making under pressure. You know where your discipline breaks down. You know what triggers your fear response. Most investors spend decades avoiding this knowledge. They diversify away from self-discovery. They hedge against personal growth. But you can't build true wealth without first building true character. The S&P is up 0.6% today. The Nasdaq is climbing. The VIX is showing calm at 16.61. But these numbers are just noise. What matters is the transformation happening in Alex's mind. The shift from external validation to internal strength. From performance-based identity to principle-based identity. This is how Stoic investors are born. Not in bull markets when everything feels easy, but in moments like this, when everything you thought you knew gets tested by reality. When your comfortable assumptions get shattered by a 25% drop. When you're forced to choose between the investor you thought you were and the investor you're capable of becoming, the market will present you with 1,000 more tests. Another FUTU, another crash, another bubble, another crisis that challenges everything you believe about investing and about yourself. The question isn't whether these tests will come. The question is whether you'll be ready, whether you've built an identity strong enough to withstand any storm. Marcus Aurelius faced plagues and wars and the collapse of everything he held dear. But his identity remained intact because it was anchored in virtue, not circumstances. Your portfolio may be bleeding today, but your character, your discipline, your commitment to principles, these cannot be touched by market volatility. This is the foundation of unshakable wealth. Not the money in your account, but the person you become in pursuit of it. The investors who survive every market cycle all share one trait. Next video names it.